What's going on, everybody? This is Jahleel C., co-founder and president of Magic Moment Media, leader of the Get It Doneer Nation, and you are now listening to the College Dropout Podcast.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on the College Dropout Podcast. My name is Sierra. I am your host, and you are now listening to the College Dropout Podcast, where we inspire, we empower, and we mentor individuals who decide to take the unconventional path in life that involves dropping out of college or skipping college altogether. Guys, welcome back to the show. Today is Tuesday, June the 6th. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I kind of just, I worked. I worked all weekend. I worked the day job and I worked the dream job all weekend long. It was, I kind of relaxed a little bit on yesterday, but for the most part, it was all work. So I hope you guys had a chance to rest. Sometimes we do need to, take a time out and just reflect and then move forward on Monday. I don't do that often though, but thank you guys once again for joining me today. Let's go ahead and jump into today's iTunes review of the week. That is a new segment that I've created where I want to just thank everyone who's taken the time out to give an iTunes review. I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but I would just want to show some appreciation. So today's iTunes review of the week comes from Jerry's 34. Jerry's 34 says, jam-packed with nuggets of greatness. Thank you, Sierra, for being bold enough to put this podcast out for us all to be inspired. I just listened to your most recent episode with Glenn Twiddle. Hi, Glenn. It was an amazingly fun interview. If you're a new listener and new to the real estate business or remotely interested in real estate, you must start here. The College Dropout Podcast will lead you to a new resource and then another, and the information never stops. Great program to keep in your weekly rotation. Thank you so much, Jerry's 34. And if I'm thinking correctly, I actually know you. So thanks so much for giving me this review, Jerry's. I really appreciate it. Like I tell you guys all the time, I know it is not the easiest thing to do an iTunes review, especially if you don't do them often. So I thank you guys so much. If you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate if you go to Apple Podcasts and leave me a rating and review. The reviews and the ratings help me grow in the boost in rankings in the self-help category. So guys, last quick announcement before we get to today's episode, which is a great one, by the way. I have a few dad hats left in stock to be ordered. So go ahead and order yours today. Visit the website, thecollegedropoutpodcast.com. Hit the shop button and you'll see it front and center. The limited edition College Dropout Podcast logo dad hat is perfect for the summer. It's perfect for the winter. It's perfect for bad hair days. It's perfect for gray hair days. Go ahead and grab a piece of history. Yes, I'm still saying it. Grab a piece of history because once these are gone, they are gone. So guys, let me go ahead and introduce you to today's guest. Today we have Mr. Jahleel Coleman from Philadelphia on the show. Guys, Jahleel is a young entrepreneur, social influencer, and development consultant based out of Philly. Jahleel specializes in both brand building and personal development and has helped thousands of people around the world understand the importance of living your best life, but making sure that you never forget to enjoy your journey along the way. First of all, before we jump into it, I have to say happy birthday, Jahleel. Today is his birthday, guys. This dynamic young man is turning 22 years old today, but the amount of wisdom that he is about to bestow upon you is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Jahleel C. Coleman. Welcome to the College Dropout Podcast, everyone. Today, I have a wonderful guest, Mr. Jahleel Coleman, a.k.a. I like to call him Mr. Get It Done. How are you today, Jahleel?
I am absolutely incredible, Sierra. How are you?
I am great. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to get this interview done. We saw each other in Philly a couple weeks ago, and we knew we had to get it done after that.
Oh man, come on. First of all, this is the Get It Doneer Nation on here. So, I'm so excited. It's so funny, Sierra, that whole term, of Get It Doneer, my friends hated that when I first started it, but it stuck so, so strong with so many different people that I was like, man, this is not going anywhere. So, we got to Get It Done Nation all across the world. People are getting it done. So I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning, Jahleel. I told my audience so much about you, how you're an entrepreneur, social influencer, consultant, speaker. But let's start at the beginning when you made the decision to drop out of college. What happened? What led you to that decision?
Wow. Well, first things first, I want to say that, I'm extremely excited that you would share me with anybody. I think that thought is weird. You know how like other people see you a certain way and then you see yourself and you're like, yo, I'm just me. I'm just the same old regular me, whatever. So long story short, I think that what happened with me was I remember when I was in high school, I tell people all the time, I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I was not the smartest kid in the classroom. I honestly, when I graduated from high school here, I had a 2.86 GPA, right? Mm-hmm. And so like literally, yeah, you hear that like I am not your typical ideal gold star student, right? Mm-hmm. So, long story short, when I ended up leaving high school, my parents, I'll never forget, it was one time where my mom, she was asking me, she was like, Jahleel, what are you going to do? Like, what are you what is your plan? And I was frustrated because I'm like, I know that I have an idea of what I want my life to be and be like, mm-hmm. but I'm also like, I don't know exactly the next steps to take. All that I did know is that like school and me were not best friends. You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't that I wasn't smart, Sierra. It was more so about the fact that all of the time that I spent involved in school was really challenging my teachers to show me how the heck am I going to use this outside of school? Like, how am I going to use this information outside of these four walls to do what I want to do? Because I'm a natural leader. I'm a natural, entrepreneur. I've never seen either one of my parents work a normal job. I've never seen, that lifestyle. And from the rip, my parents, especially my mom, every single day, before I would leave the house, she would be like, she would speak over me. She'd be like, you're the head and not the tail. You're above only and not beneath. You are the lender, not the borrower. She would just speak these positive affirmations over me. And so, of course, when you're programmed that way in your mind, you don't really think to yourself, oh, let me go work a job 40 years, 40 hours a week and retire and collect my pension. Like, that's not the lane you're going in. Right. And so, when I went to school, because I just wanted to kind of at least like make mom and dad happy with at least saying I tried it, because their biggest thing was they were never forcing me to do anything in particular. They never were forcing me to say, hey, you have to do this. They were just like, listen, you have to do something. And why don't you at least try this? And if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. Mm. So I remember I went to community school. I didn't even have academic scholarship money because nobody was giving that to a kid that had a 2.86 GPA. I received some funding from some leadership work that I had done in the community, and I put that towards community school. Well, to be honest with you, Sierra, when I was in community school, I realized that this structure of school and getting good grades and all of that kind of stuff, like, it just wasn't for me. I always use the analogy when it comes to school that if you have a fish that is in a bowl and you put that next to a tree, and you expect that fish, whose natural habitat or environment is to be in a bowl or swim around, and you expect it to climb up a tree, then it's no way that fish is going to be able to be successful in its natural element because it's out of its element, Mm-hmm. And so I think that was the main thing that happened for me. And during that time, I was working a part-time job, and that's a whole nother story. We're supposed to be talking about so I could really go in on that. That's when I found out I was allergic to bosses, period. But yeah, man, I'm just excited because I really want to shed light on the idea that you don't necessarily have to be a, college graduate or, a scholar to be able to be successful.
Absolutely. And that's the entire goal of this podcast. And I kind of switched it a little bit recently too, because, there are people who are successful who aren't necessarily entrepreneurs. I had a young lady on the show last week who's a VP of a tech company. Like, she started with Uber. And she doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, but she enjoys what she does. She goes in these companies, turn them around. But she dropped out of college as well. So thank you for saying that, because that is exactly what this show is about. So let's talk about. So you drop out of college. You have your part-time job. Like, where does the what's the turning point where you figure out, okay, this is what I want to do as far as being a speaker, entrepreneur, and everything else that you are?
Absolutely. Wow, that's a really great question. So I think what happened was, while I was in school and I was working a part-time jobs here, I became very sick in those years. I was very, very sick. I was plagued with a really bad disease. And you actually may have heard of this disease before. It's actually called phlebitis, right?
Okay.
And what happens with phlebitis, the symptoms, you or your family member may have had it before. You start to get fed up with somebody telling you, you have to clock in somewhere and be somewhere at a certain time. You get fed up with somebody saying, hey, you're only worth X amount of dollars for a particular hour. You get fed up with somebody saying, hey, you have to be hungry by 12 and be full by 1 o'clock. Like, you get fed up with somebody telling you, hey, you only have this amount of time to go to the bathroom. Now, Sierra, I'm going to be honest with you. The turning point was when I realized I'm a grown man. How are you going to try to sit here and tell me how much time I have to use the bathroom, right? So I believe that, that disease, and I always use that as a funny joke, it helps people to really understand the idea, like, man, I'm fed up. I've been going through some things, and I've got some things in me that I'm just tired of. And I became sick and tired of being sick and tired. And there were 2 instances here that changed my life for the rest of my life. The first one was this. I'll never forget. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was literally forced to be able to stay at my job like overnight, right?
Wow.
So I had been there up until 8 o'clock, and then they made me stay. It was like a 1 to 8 shift, and then I was working at Radio Shack. That's not a secret. I love telling people about that, because anybody who's working at Radio Shack, you can make it. But literally, I was there from 1 to 8, and then after that shift, they made me stay from 8 to 3 a.m., and then I had to be back in the store the next morning at 9 a.m. to open up the store. And I realized in that moment, I was like, Jahleel, like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I should be home in my bed. And I realized that I was only 18 here at that time. So, for me, I'm like, I know I'm worth more. I know I can do more. I know I can have more than what I'm experiencing right now. And I want more from my life. And so that was the first moment. The second moment was the CEO of Radio Shack comes walking into the store. Now, he's not cocky. He's not pompous, bombastic, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. He's none of those things. He was the most humble, down-to-earth kind of dude that you could think of. Dressed down, nice button up, jeans, shoes, whatever. He was super down-to-earth. Literally, I could smell the onions on his fingertips when when he walked in the door. Now, you're laughing, right? There's a reason why I'm bringing this point up. So the reason why I bring that point up is because he had just came from Philly. He's from Dallas. He came into Philly. Of course, he got himself a cheesesteak, right? And that point I brought up because he was enjoying the luxuries of life while I couldn't.
Right.
And that was a crucial moment that I really saw him walk out the store, and then I realized to myself that I couldn't. And I made a promise to myself. And I said, Jahleel, no man will ever have that much power over your life again. And so from that day on, I got down on my knees. I started praying to God. I said, God, please give me something, anything that I can be able to take to change my life from where it is right now to ultimately where I want it to be. And that's when I was introduced to the opportunity of entrepreneurship. I'll never forget that I saw my brother. He was in business for himself, and he was working a business, and I was like, man, I was intrigued by it, and I literally hunted him down, and I was like, show me what you do, show me how you do what you do. And I literally slept on his couch. My mom is actually sitting in the room with me right now. Literally, I slept on his couch every single Friday for a year straight.
Wow.
Multiple times throughout the week.
And this is at the age of 18, right?
This is 18. Yeah, this
incredible.
Is 18. I literally stalked him. Like, I cloned myself after him. My mom would be pissed at me because she would be like, you're not even your own person, It was because I believe in the philosophy of picking a champion and modeling that champion.
Absolutely.
be able to have what it is that they have. And so I literally stalked him, and yeah, I mean, before I go into the rest, I want to make sure I stay in alignment with your questioning. So
I want to talk a little. Oh, absolutely. No, you're doing, perfectly fine. I kind of like when my guests, take over just a little bit, but I want to go back a little bit. You talked about watching your parents never work a regular job and your mom speaking affirmations over you. Like in a nutshell, it was your environment that pushed you to, at the age of 18, making up your mind that you never wanted to work for anybody again. Could you talk to my listeners a little bit about the importance of your environment?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, I don't believe in vision boards. I believe in vision environments. And, I have vision boards. Don't get me wrong. I believe that where there is no vision, people perish. Absolutely. However, you have to create a vision environment around you. And so, it's so funny. If you look at my room, if you look at my bathroom, everywhere around me, even my old car, I just got a new car, praise God. So I actually have to deck it out. But, like everywhere around me is a constant reminder of where I'm going. I'm not distracted by what I see, because if I get distracted by what I see, it could interrupt what I saw. Ooh. Now, what I mean by that is what I saw at 18 was the vision for my life.
Right.
And ever since I've seen that vision, every single day, I've worked towards that vision. If I'm distracted by what I see currently around me, the circumstances that don't look like what I saw, I know that that's a false reality. So because of that, excuse me, that environment. You have to create that atmosphere that's conducive for your success. Every single morning, Sierra, the first thing that I see is when I look up at my ceiling, I'm looking up at an arena of 25,000+ people. And literally, I mean, this is a picture that I have on my ceiling. And I'm immediately reminded of that's the vision. That's where we're going. That's literally that's the end goal, if you will, the big picture goal. And every morning I'm asking myself the question, and then it's not even just myself. I'm asking God, okay, God, how do we get there? And then we do the daily activities that lead us there. So environment is not just created with pictures, because you have two different gates here. You have your eye gate and you have your ear gate, right? So your eye gate is what goes in through your eyes, the things that you see that trigger the emotions that will lead you to where it is that you're going. The ear gate is what you hear that will trigger the emotions of where you're going. So you must be protective of your eye gate and your ear gate. Well, think about this. It's not just about the things that you see from TV and video. It's also the people that you see on a daily basis. If you're looking at people constantly who are negative, who are not proceeding with their goal, with their vision for their life, if you're looking at people who are constantly repeating patterns of redundancy, if you will, or procrastination and all these kinds of things, best believe that you're bringing that into your inner man, and Definitely. You're going to start duplicating those things. If you're hearing these people, if you're hearing what they're saying things like I'm broke, and not realizing that broke is not a reality or a state, it's a mindset. If you're hearing people say I'm sick, oh, I'm so tired, oh, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Oh, I'm fed up with my life. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be successful. And then even now projecting their insecurities on you, now making you feel like you're not going to be successful. When you put that in your ear gate, now you're going to start duplicating the actions that are going to make you not be in alignment with what it is, the vision that you saw for yourself. So that environment is the most crucial thing, I believe, of all. And every single day I create the atmosphere of what it is that I want. So I start off my morning. I try not to start off my morning with looking at my phone and going through text messages and all of that kind of stuff. I try not to start my morning going through my Instagram feed and responding back to my DMs and all that kind of stuff. I try to start every morning with my favorite book. It's called The Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And
Absolutely.
I study the book because it just speaks so much life into me. Then after that, I go through my meditation and prayer. and just study and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, that's when I now get into my own affirmations. I command my peak state, right? My mentor Tony Robbins, he talks about getting into your peak state, commanding the physical emotions from yourself every day to make yourself believe like you're already in the place that you're trying to go. So I celebrate my victories. I celebrate, my company hitting $100 million in revenue. I celebrate, the kind of dream car that I'm driving. I celebrate the fact that I paid off my parents' home. I celebrate the fact that, I was able to buy my dad his dream car. I celebrate the fact that I was able to get, my mom that beach house that she wants. It's so many different things that I celebrate before it ever happens, but it's because I'm creating the atmosphere and the environment necessary for me to be able to have the success I'm looking to see.
That is amazing. And you're only 21, right?
21 for the next 4 days, Mom? 4 days? 4 days. 4 days. 4 days.
Unbelievable. And that right there is a prime example of why your environment is so important. Like, that was just unbelievable. And I don't even know what to say after that. But one thing I do want to ask you, give us like because you have people who say, well, I don't know where to find like the positive people or where do I find a good environment. Give us one quick tip. Like, what would you do if you weren't in the environment you were in, if you didn't grow up the way you grew up, but you knew you needed to change your environment? What do you think the first thing you would do would be?
Well, I believe that the first thing that I would do is I would have to pick a champion. See, I think that that's the first step. I believe that we as humans, we pattern ourselves. We look for successful imagery and then we pattern ourselves. So there would be no Michael Jordan if there wasn't a Dr. J. There would be no, Kobe Bryant if there wasn't a Michael Jordan and a Dr. J. So you have to find the person that you're trying to be like, right? Once you find that champion, you have to ask yourself the question of where is that champion spending their time? Where are the kind of places that champion goes? What's the environments that they're going to be in? And then find those places. So when I was 18 years old, I started out trying to find out, well, where are all the people who are living the kind of life that I want to live at? So my mom bought me my first suit. I mean, of course, I had suits growing up. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't wearing them. I didn't even have a suit that fit me in my closet when I first started in the business. So my mom bought me my first suit, and man, I would wear the heck out of that suit. It was one suit, but I switched the shirt up every like 4 or 5 shirts to make it look like it was a different suit. And I put my suit on, and I would go to these networking events around the city. My parents would see me come home at 18. I was driving home at 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock at night, they'd be like, where are you coming from? And I'd be like, a networking event. I'll just find these different events to go to. And I have to give credit to one of my champions, my big brother, Neil Davis, because, he showed me the roadmap to the city. He gave me all of these different places that I could go. And I'll never forget linking up with him one night. And I remember we went through the entire city, and my eyes were open to so many different places that I could go to and network. And Neil was an example of one of the people that I saw in the city that was really doing their thing and that I could model myself after. And so literally, you talk about that whole cloning thing. I got the same haircut as him. Like I modeled him to the T until I got enough value that I could extract and make it my own and then, go. So to answer the question, I believe that everybody needs to pick a champion, find somebody who is worth modeling, that looks and has the things that you intend to have for your life, and then think of where are those people going? Where are they hanging out at? I can guarantee you they're probably not hanging out at the bar every other night. They're not hanging out at the club every other night. I guarantee you they're not, sitting and sparking up or getting high, with their friends every other night. They're in places that other people, who are successful are, because like attracts like. You are the sum total of the 5 people who are closest to you. So, if I look at you, I can probably guess your bank account, or excuse me, if I look at your other 4 close friends, and I can probably guess your bank account within, about maybe a $500 to $1,000 or so, just because of the fact that I'm looking at the people that you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. And big shout out to Nehemiah Davis, aka Neo, who's been on the show. He's a awesome guy, philanthropist, entrepreneur, just all around great person. It was good. It was. He's actually the one who referred you to me, by the way. Jahleel, let me ask you this: what do you think your gifts and talents are?
Communication. I'm a communicator. So I guess that kind of is a great segue for me to be able to talk about Magic Moment and how that came. So pretty much, ever since I was born, I've naturally just been a talker, right? That's kind of why I have as many scars on my behind as I have now from my mom, right? Because I was just a talker, and I could talk myself into anything. That was the thing. I could talk myself into the good, and I could talk myself into the bad. That's why my mom is always like, "Man, I spoiled you so much," because I'm the baby, right? So I could kind of finesse my mom and find ways to get what I wanted, right? And it serves me well now. But I've always been a communicator. I've always been a speaker. My dad is a pastor, so he's been a pastor for the last 32 years. So I've seen both him and my mom communicate with people my entire life, and it's been a natural gift of mine. So what I would say is that once I started getting to about 18. Is when I started to embrace this whole idea of speaking. And my last business venture, really required me to develop that gift. Well, it started off as speaking, but then it turned into the idea of marketing. I realized I was really good at being able to market a product and communicate the benefits of that product, because I believe in, you're not really concerned about ever buying a product. This is a quick business tip for everybody, all my entrepreneurs out there. You're never selling a product. You're selling the feeling that product gives. So when you're able to effectively do that, that's communication. So I am, I guess, blessed with the gift of speaking, but I wanted to duplicate myself because everybody can't speak necessarily like me or like the next guy. I can't speak as good as E.T. or whoever else, but it's not about it being as good or better or worse. It's about that's how he speaks or that's how she speaks. So when I developed my gift of speaking, I then turned that into, well, how are other ways that I can communicate with people? So when I show a video, even though I'm not featured in for the video that we just did, Magic Moment just did for Eric Thomas, right? And shout out to ETA and the whole camp. It was just an amazing opportunity to be able to work with them on that project. That even though I'm not in the video and I'm not talking in the video, you don't see my face in the video, I'm still talking to you. I'm still communicating to you because I'm showcasing something that can help you to be able to live a better life and lifestyle and blah, blah, blah. And so what happened with Magic Moment, I would have all these sessions where I would be talking with people, with friends or others. And because I'm a visionary, I can see things way bigger than they actually are. I have that gift. I believe it's a gift from God to be able to see the seed and see the tree inside of it, but when it's still seed form. And I have the ability to nurture that and develop that and grow it to be the big thing that it is. So Magic Moment came to be because of those conversations, because of me having these talks with different people about developing their brand and coming up with these catchy slogans and all of that kind of stuff that I knew would just stick and hit with people. And as time progressed, all of the tools that I needed to be able to build the company or build a company were all around me. So I had a conversation with my brother, Jahleel Coleman, and then we decided, hey, okay, let's try this thing out. And we went out to Chicago on faith, without payment, and just decided to cover a conference, and just to do, some video work and start talking about branding, because most people think that Magic Moment Media is a video company. We're not a video company. We're a full service content creative agency. So what we do is we come up with really cool concepts and content for different brands, whether it be, branding as far as rebranding or coming up with the identity of a brand or logo creations and all that stuff. We're a full service brand. We really work on campaigns. And so, we decided to put it together in Chicago, and we didn't receive any payment. We went out there on our own dime, and that's another little tidbit for you guys. Just make sure that and I'm coining this year, so make sure I get my credit, at least on the first time you tweet this. But I believe that you have to serve before the swipe, which means that you have to serve people and give value before you
Absolutely.
accept compensation. Because it's about service first, providing that value, right? I don't want to get on a tangent about that, but we went out there and we served, and we found that we had a niche. And then my cousin Chris, who is really experienced in like just multimedia and all different types of social media and all that kind of stuff, he lives out in LA, and so we came together and we had a conversation, and then we were like, man, you know what? We have too much talent, too much ability in our family, so let's go ahead and build something. And we built Magic Moment Media, and now it is what it is. We're all partners. We're all co-founders. We equally share this company, and it's just the most beautiful thing that's happened. And all of it, every single tweet, every single post that we run for our clients, every single video we do, photo shoots, campaign creation, slogan, whatever it is, I get the ability, and I'm blessed with the ability to communicate to people a particular idea. And I think that that's the most coolest thing in the world. And that's why I love what I do. And I love waking up every day on fire to be able to help somebody else.
You guys, like the level of professionalism, I saw you guys in action in Philly, and the attention to detail, the commitment to just catch any, and like every magic moment, whether it was someone shaking someone's hand, whether it's someone being in the registration line having a conversation, or meeting people that they have known through Breathe University, which is ET's community. Like, you guys literally were catching all of the moments, and it was just amazing to watch. So I definitely know you guys are going to take that company to the next level, as well as a lot of different brands and companies. And I know the opportunity you had with ET was next level, and the video you guys did afterwards was also next level. And to be honest, I was not expecting to see a video that quick. Like, you guys, I'm like, did they go home and do the video that night? It was quick. I'm thinking, okay, maybe a week, because you guys had a lot of footage. But that's the level of professionalism for you guys to be so young. Like, I don't know how old your brother is, but you're only 21, and you're clearly a leader. And I can't wait to see what you do next with it.
Wow.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. No, I really, we pride ourselves in that. Like, that is the most important thing. We want to give you, extremely high quality at an extremely fast rate, because that's the thing that everybody. Yeah, no, really, you can't. Like, you have to get to the spot. Like, he talks about that all the time. Get to the spot, and it's not about you being the best. It's not about you being the strongest. Yep. It's not about you being, the most proficient, the most educated. But can you get there first?
Absolutely. And, when you were talking about getting to the spot, that's perfect for like my next question, because you put out a video on your Instagram page like around May, like mid-May, where you were talking to your team about, you have to be a different type of person in 2017. And you basically were telling them, like, it's time to level up. Like, if we say we're going to do it, we have to do it. My question to you, Jahleel, is what's the biggest difference between 2016 and 2017, Jahleel?
Such a great question, Sierra. Oh, I love it. I hope you said the podcast is usually only 30 minutes. I hope you're ready to go, because we can go on this. 2017 is a different animal. 2017 is a different animal. It's a different vibe in 2017. Limitations have been just shattered and literally just kablasted. It's a different energy in 2017. I have a different feeling in 2017. In 2016 is when I was coming out of my last business venture. And to be honest with you, Sierra, I realized that in that last venture, I thought I had control, but I realized I really did not have control. And transitioning into 2017 is when I took control. Like, I took ownership. And I believe that in this year, it's a new freedom that I personally have to be able to take myself from where I am to ultimately where I want to be. I snapped in 2017. When we transitioned over into this new year, I feel like a different kind of person. I believe much bigger, much faster. And a lot of the work that I was putting in 2016 to develop the mindset, the bulletproof mindset that I now have, it manifested. I'm starting to see the blossoms of the investments and the seeds that I was planting in 2016 as far as development of myself. So when I project that onto my team and everybody else, I believe that in order to be an effective and efficient leader, the leader has to have the vision. And if the leader has the vision, then everybody else can buy into that vision. A leader is most effective, or the most effective leader is the one who is able to plant the seed in the minds of the people that are following him with the same vision that he sees. A leader is a storyteller. He's a painter, right? So my job is to be able to always paint the picture in the minds of those who are following me, and that's not just on my team as far as Magic Moment or Jahleel C Enterprises, but it's more about the overall people who are following me as a whole, like the Get It Done Nation, like this. It's almost 17,000 strong, and we're going to get even bigger than that. So the biggest thing that I believe that the difference is that it's a different expectation that I now have for myself. There's things that I'm seeing in my life, Sierra, and in my family's life that to be honest with you, that I can't do yet the way that I want to do, and I'm fed up with that feeling, like that I can't provide and do the things that I want to be able to do. So my expectation of myself is bigger, and it's faster, and it's stronger. And because we now have that opportunity, God's blessed us with another year. It's time to level up. It's time to boss up. Let of the limitations and the limiting beliefs that have been on your life and that you've seen about yourself, and boss up. It's bigger than me, Sierra. It's bigger than you. Like the people that are going to get served and blessed from this, I don't even know who's going to listen to this one day and decide not to give up. But every day that I wake up, I think of that person. And I say to myself, if I'm still here another day, it's a reason. And there's somebody whose life is attached to my gift. And I don't take that for granted. And I have the biggest appreciation of that. I put another video out that talked about my worth. When you get to that point where you know your worth, and you really, but when you feel like you really are connected to the worth and the value that you bring, you'll understand that there are lives that are attached to your purpose and your gift. So you have to tap into that gift and step into that, and launch yourself into what it is that God's called for you. So I just believe that, and it is something it stirs me up. That's why I said I hope you. But yeah, man, it's bigger than you. And it's bigger than you.
Just let the church say amen. That's all I have to say after that one. That was incredible. But Jahleel, I know you have a busy schedule, and I just got one more thing for you. And this is something I ask from all of my guests. Could you leave us with a quote or an affirmation that you live by?
So the quote that I live by is my mantra right now. And that is, stop seeking to be successful and start seeking to become valuable.
Love it.
When you allow yourself to not get distracted by the success that you're looking to have, the multi-millions of dollars that you're looking to create, and you replace that with becoming a multi-million dollar value, you'll have the money that you seek, because money always follows value, period.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was Jahleel Coleman, young social influencer, entrepreneur, speaker from Philadelphia. Guys, if you want to continue to follow Jahleel and his Get It Done movement, follow him on Instagram, Jahleel, JAHLEELC _Jahleel C. If you just start typing in Jahleel, he'll definitely pop up. I told you guys that the interview was going to be amazing. He dropped so many nuggets, and my absolute favorite one was serve before you swipe. Serve before you swipe. And I may have to take my thoughts and my experiences with that particular quote to Thoughtful Thursday, because I can't take up any much more of your time with today's interview, because we are running a little over than normal. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on Thursday for Thoughtful Thursday, which we know will be powerful and dynamic. Guys, once again, follow Jahleel, Jahleel C _ on Instagram. Continue to support and watch his movement with Magic Moment Media. Guys, I thank you for continuing to support this movement with the College Dropout Podcast. Share this episode with a friend or family member, like just one person. Do me that one favor. If you have an iPhone, it's so easy for you to share episodes now. Just share it with one person. Send them to the YouTube page. The YouTube page is Sierra Say, CIERRA SEAY. And also, if you haven't had the opportunity to, please leave me a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Guys, thank you once again. I'll see you later on this week. Have a great day. Make it an even better week. And always be impactful and be intentional.